Say welcome, folks. We're gonna do two videos in one because I was just gonna do a State of Comics video, but one of the viewers sent me some information about CGC. It's important to get to that. So after you see the stuff about CGC, I'm gonna do a State of Comics. So stick around for the end of the video. We're gonna be talking about the comic industry and so on and so forth. And we're gonna get off of CGC, but first we gotta get on CGC. Here we go. Over the last couple of weeks, you know, CGC's been having their problems and we've all been on YouTube talking about it. And on the Beyond Wednesday show, they've asked people to reach out if they've had any problems with CGC. And one of my viewers did. Guy's name's David. He's a reseller on eBay. He has an eBay store. We talked a couple emails back and forth. He sent me an extensive group of pictures, which we're gonna put them up, talk a little bit about them, and then also talk about, he sent me the whole chat he had on the CGC boards where people are talking about these mechanical errors are in the 50% range, that novice people who are sending their stuff in don't realize that there is a mechanical error and that they should send it back. But David was on them really hard. And you know, you're paying for this service. It should come to you. Every one of them should be in the same, you know, just like McDonald's or Burger King, you go, you want that burger, that's the burger you get, the same one, no matter if you're in Ohio or New Jersey. And it seems like that's not happening with the CGC slabs. A lot of weird things about these photos here. As you can see, there's a lot of warping and the books seem to have been damaged and they've been reholdered at least once. There's foreign objects inside of the plastic. A lot of this stuff, to be honest with you, I didn't notice. I'm more on the economics of it and the transparency of the company. And this actually leads into that transparency, is that I didn't even know this was going on. Some of these holders look like they were set on concrete floors and skidded across the concrete floor. There's that much scratching on them. There's some pictures of the shipping boxes. They are sometimes shipped with a cardboard lid, sometimes without. Sometimes there's just a few books, so they put separators between the books. And then other times, if you have a large order, they just put them plastic to plastic inside. Some have bags, sometimes they don't have bags. So that consistency is really not there. If I'm paying, this customer's paying, and this customer's paying the same amount, they should get the same service. That's one of the issues I had through all the other videos. We're looking at all these different photos. Some of the actual slabbing has damaged his books. You can see it clearly, but they still have 9/8 on them. So they didn't downgrade the book because it was their fault, but it's still a damaged book in a 9/8 holder. I don't know where you go with that. I mean, if you can see, probably in one of the last pictures, and sorry about that, one of the last pictures you'll see is from 2024, January, with Newton rings. Everybody told me, and everybody's been saying, oh, well, they solved that problem. They solved that problem. They've changed their plastic. It's not happening anymore. It's obviously still happening. I mean, I get it. There's a lot of people, and I've said this in other videos, that have invested a lot of money in CGC graded so they can resell them, and they really don't want to come out against CGC and have that price dip until they dump their books. You know, that's business. When you take a chance on doing business with another company, if it increases your value, if you stick with them when you obviously are seeing that they have problems. It's like if I buy too many of a new book coming out and it doesn't sell at all, well, I'm stuck with it. But if I keep buying that book at the same number, how do I expect that it's gonna continue on? For most people's part, it has continued on for CGC. It wasn't until we had these two huge scandals that everybody's starting to see that there might have been problems for a long time with these books, starting when they got overwhelmed during COVID and continuing through. You know, even didn't they have some shutdowns where they had they weren't accepting any books at a time because they were so overwhelmed. Sadly, that's what led to probably a lesser quality product. And what happened, what they seen was, people didn't care. They kept sending out bad quality. People said nothing. Why? Because they were still able to sell it at the highest premium So they kept sending books in. So they kept shipping out bad product. The only way we're going to get them to make better product is if you stop sending your stuff to CGC. If you can afford to, if it's your business, you might not be able to afford to, but if it's your side gig, if you can afford to not ship them books for a month, I think that if a lot of people did that, I think that would be a really step forward to getting them to be, like we said before, not tone deaf to the problems that their company has and what they're going to do to move forward and get better. I want you to take a look. The request from Dave. Dave didn't mind if we used his examples and showing you his chat. We're going to show you a very long chat on the boards from CGC, probably before March of 2023, all the way through January of 2024. The kind of back and forth. So everybody else that responded to his chats on the CGC boards, we're going to cut out their names because they didn't request us to do it, to be into the video. And Dave requested that we do that for him. And I think that's a guy who's showing some integrity. He's just not like, oh, throw it all up there. He's like, hey, I want you to protect these people because if there's any backlash from CGC. He kind of wanted to get this all out there before his subscription to CGC ended, which it's ending soon. So I wanted to get a video out there as soon as possible. It's extensive. We're going to roll it on the screen. I'm not going to read any of it. You can pause the video at different times to read it. If you see anything specific and have questions on it, please put it in the comments. And as people know, I try to respond to every single comment. Hopefully at one point the channel will be so big I won't be able to talk to everybody, but until it is that big, I'm definitely going to reach out to everybody that leaves a comment. Really appreciate all the conversation that's going on, and I'm learning a lot of stuff. Man, that's one thing. I'm an old man, and they say you can't teach old dogs new tricks, but you can teach this dog. I read all of them. I listen to all the points. The thing I love is most people are, like I said, actually, I'm going to take that away. I'm not going to say most people. I haven't read a comment that was rude to the point where it was just rude to be rude. Some people were very to the point and blunt, and I can accept that. I don't feel, my feelings aren't hurt or anything like that. If you're making a valid point and you want to be direct, send it my way. Because, listen, that's the way it goes. There may be something I don't know, and I don't know what I don't know, and I say that in a lot of my videos. I want to learn, so send it to me. But if you look at this chat, there's if you read it through, you'll see the person who's kind of the moderator for CGC. We're going to block out his name and stuff, but you can figure it out because they're saying certain things that you can figure out they're part of the company. And he reaches out 2 or 3 times during this chat about how he's, CGC is going to try to take care of him. And then like on the last one, when he's like, oh, there's only 2 weeks to send back your mechanical errors. Again, 2 weeks when does it start? From when they ship it to you? From when you receive it? From when you open it? How do they know when you open it? What if I can't get to it right away? So when does my 2 weeks start clicking? I'm not going to read through the website. Please let me know when the 2 weeks starts. But that's also a problem. Listen, you got to stand behind your product. I understand if it's 2 months after, that's a little bit too long, but 2 weeks might be a little too short. So maybe 30 days, on something that might not be sent as fast as it should be. I might not open it as fast as I should open it. And then the process of getting a mechanical error return, if you read this whole chat from their boards, is extensive and it takes some time. So maybe there's not enough time in the 2 weeks to get all the pictures, especially if you have multiple books. Like, he had to return 35 books at one time. That's a lot. Like 35 returns is pretty bad. So I'm wondering, the people who are sending 1 and 2 books in, and when they get it back, they're so happy to put it on their wall. They aren't noticing the scuffing and they're not noticing the warping. Everybody's noticing those Newton rings. That's a tragic thing for a company to be this far behind the service. Well, you can see in the chats, they did say that the service got better, but the shipping has gotten worse. There's a person in the comments, if you look, It started out as good, it started out as better, and then went to good, bad, worse. So they think that the shipping has actually gone down, the quality of the shipping and the packing. Let me know if you've had the same experience. This is what we're trying to get people to come together and to bring this to light, what stuff is in the dark, right? So if you're alone and you send your books out, you get your books back and you're not happy with them, there may be hundreds of people, thousands of people that are not happy with their books. If we could be a voice for all those people and know a real number, it would be good. I mean, I think that maybe CGC would step up when the public and the community know how many people are actually having difficulties with their service. And instead of being, again, tone deaf in their PR. State of Comics. Everybody who's stuck around wants to know about the State of Comics. See the smile on my face? After, I don't know how long I've been screaming at Marvel and DC, probably 3 years, maybe as many as 5. Your books are bad. 90% of your books are bad, especially DC. I was warehousing their books because nobody was buying them. And lo and behold, good stories. Marvel too. I don't think they listened to me. I think they listened to the numbers. I think their numbers were getting so bad. They had to find a time when it was right to reboot, sort of, and bring in some really good writing. I'll have to say that, you know, a guy who reads a lot of independents and still enjoy the independents, even through this period of not great content. There's been a lot of great independents. Marvel and DC are stepping up, and it's really selling books in the shops. I have sold more new books in the last month than I probably have sold new books probably in 3-month period. The licensed stuff has really helped. I know it's been a while since Void Rivals, Transformers have come out, but that has helped. The new Thundercat book has helped. I know they're independents, but then let's get to Marvel and DC. Avengers Twilight, if you follow me on Instagram, you can see I say that that's the greatest book that's been written in a long, long time. Yeah, it's written for old guys. And, oh, oops, there's politics in it. They're written, you can read in between the lines, but I think the lines are pretty far apart. I think it's pretty cut and clear what they're talking about. It's fantastic. The art is fantastic. The pace of the book is fantastic. The reveals on the book are great. The world is really, really cool. I can't say enough about it. I know I'm late to the game on this. The reason I read it was Brian McClay from Beyond Wednesday said, hey, this was a really good book. I hadn't gotten a chance to read it, and I wasn't even going to think about reading it, actually. But then, you know, after hearing that, I was like, and it's Chip Zdarsky? I was like, I'm in, I'll read it. And it blew me away. It's really fantastic. It's kind of great where the villain is kind of in behind the scenes and the good guys are kind of Saw's old and kind of, you know, old school, and you know, the world has moved on. Yeah, read it. Avengers Twilight, read it. Next is the Ultimates. Of course, everybody's on the Ultimates. You hate to see the book go to this extreme money. There's going to be a second print and a third print. It's a great read. Do I think there's anything super special about it that it's going to be a really big book years and years down the road? No, don't pay $80 for this book. I would say if you want a first print A cover of this book, wait till it drops to $20. In about a year, it'll be $20. If you want to read it, buy a second or third copy, go down to your local comic shop and order it. They'll get it, they'll put it in for you, and you can read it. And then you can just wait until it drops down if you want that A cover. Because, you know, I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past. I don't know everything, and I don't have but books like that, they blow up. They printed a lot. I mean, there was a lot of people on top of this, so wait, it'll come down. There's a lot of people profiteering on this, so wait for that. The Black Panther sold out so fast in my shop, I didn't get to read it, so I won't have a review on that until I get the second print. DC's Green Lantern War Journal is good. Green Lantern is okay. If you haven't been reading the Justice Society, Jeff Johns is doing a killer job on that book. I came to that book late. So I didn't get to read number 1 or number 2, but I've read from 3 on, and I really dig it. There's a lot of time travel and weird stuff going on, but I still dig it. Jeff Johns is really killing it, and the art's really good. So there is a lot of good books on Marvel and DC coming out now. The writing is really good. I'm excited I know it came out this week, and I haven't had a chance to read it yet, but the Joker Year 1 in the Batman series, I'm excited to read that. I hope that's going to be just as good as a lot of the other books that have been coming out. I just feel that the momentum have changed, right? Like, I was selling less and less new books for the last 3 years and losing more and more subscribers. And now I've gained 3 subscribers in the last week, 5 over the last month. There's people coming back for certain books in the comic shop. The state of comics is it's looking up. If they can keep it up, Hickman can keep it up. You know, his main story in that X-Men, that reboot, was good, but I think the guys he was supposed to be kind of being the editor for all the X-Men books, I think a lot of the other books were disconnected. They didn't feel like they were a part of the main story. At points, I think they started out there, but I think they drifted, so it wasn't a great success. But you know, I've got a good feeling about where it is right now. I have a good feeling about, you know, the comics being on, well, it was a movie Super Bowl ad. The Super Bowl ad for Deadpool got people jumping onto the internet to see the full. I thought that was genius, right? Here's a 30 seconds. We're not going to show you the real trailer. Come to the internet and check out the real trailer. I thought that was absolute genius, because then you get to see how many people left the Super Bowl to watch a trailer. So that was great. Oh, speaking of which, our last video we put up on Super Bowl Sunday, and we did 1,100 views. So thank you everybody that took the time during the Super Bowl to watch our video. I love it. It's great, because I would rather talk comics, and I'm a big football fan. I played football when I Pop Warner, and a little bit, I practiced for high school. I had to go to work instead, and the coaches wouldn't let me work and play, so I didn't get to play high school, but I still loved it. And I still love football, but I love comics more. So, you know what we always say, keep reading comics and keep coming to watch more videos. Thanks.